Danny Kruger.
Morning, me. And can I say what a pleasure it was to hear the maiden speech from my new honourable friend, Member Hartlepool. Absolutely tremendous. I was sort of lifted off my feet by the sheer patriotism of her speech, and so inspiring to hear what her love of her place and the attachment she has to it and the commitment she has to Hartlepool. I mean, it makes me proud of the day I spent campaigning for her. Maybe it was more of an afternoon, but it was enough. Anyway, I'm very, very pleased to hear her. We are all Hartlepoolians here after that speech, so I'm very pleased that she's joined us. Madam Deputy Speaker, the British economy is booming. We have the fastest growth in the G7 this year and the next. Unemployment is falling across the country, wages are up, and with the strongest recovery is for the youngest people in our economy. I'm very proud of what the government is doing to invest in people. The 2,500 young people every week that are joining the Kickstart programme. The million people who are in long-term unemployment who are being helped with a £2,000 restart grant each. £3,000 for every new apprentice. Doubling the number of work coaches. The government is investing in people and helping people take the benefit of our high-wage economy. But there is a problem, and I recognise that, and this is an appropriate debate to be having. And inflation is creeping in to the economy, and the cost of living is a concern. It's creeping in partly because of the exuberance of the global economy as countries come out of lockdown. There's a huge pent-up demand for raw materials. There's obviously disruption to global supply chains and to logistics caused by COVID. And we are a group of islands, and we are vulnerable to these shocks in international trade. And I do think, Madam Deputy Speaker, we are rather too vulnerable to these shocks. We are too reliant on imports, especially for energy, as of course is very salient this week. But beyond that, there are some profound structural issues in our economy that I think we need to address on the supply side. There are distortions in the market. And if you think about the four most essential aspects of life, the things we all spend our money on first, which are of course our housing, food, water and heat, and energy. Each of these markets is distorted, and they have different effects. Some are overpriced, some are underpriced. So if you look at housing, housing is overpriced. More specifically, it's the land under houses that is overpriced. And the result is that over the last 50 years, the portion of household spending that goes on housing has doubled. Then you look at food. Here costs are going up. There is a real concern there. But this is after years of artificially low prices for food. As the proportion of household spending that went on housing has doubled, over the same period the proportion of spending on food has halved. So something is up. And of course that's great if the quality of the food is just as good, or if the real costs of the production of the food are reflected in the price, but they're not. We have an obesity crisis, we have polluted rivers and environment. And the same story can be told of our water systems. We have artificially cheap water in this country because the real cost of water is being borne by the environment, by all of us in our taxes, in public services and in bad health. And lastly, energy, as we're all very familiar now. Prices are rising because of our dependence on foreign supply. So we have these different distortions in our market which have different effects on prices. But what's in common with them, the thing that is in common in all of these markets, is the lack of effective competition. We have a small number of very large companies, house builders, supermarkets, water companies, energy companies, all of which, I'm afraid to say, act to distort markets and to have these negative effects, and ultimately to pass on high prices, even if, in some cases, through subsidies and others, the price at the till is low. The overall effect of these cartels is to increase prices for all of us. So yes to the demand-side reforms which the government is responsible. My great congratulations to them on the high wage economy and the rise in wages, the investment in skills that they are doing. I look forward to the spending review, and I hope we will see more support for the families that are most worst off. But fundamentally what we need is more plural markets. We need more local production in homes and food and energy, which will empower local communities, will help local economies and keep down the cost of living. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.